So to Pat. Hi, Pat. So from the book, you let us know that you're almost 70 now. You actually do not look anywhere near it, I have to say. But can you take us down memory lane and tell us about 1976 and its significance to you?
Yes, certainly. It was hugely significant. It was probably, well, it definitely was the changing point in my life. I'd been married by that point for 5 years, um, not altogether successfully. He was kind of not the nicest man, but I was just coping with it as we all do. And then he was offered the chance to go and work in the Fiji Islands for 2 years. I had no idea where Fiji was. I had to look it up on the map. I thought it was in the Caribbean. And of course, from England to Fiji is the farthest in the world you can go. So I was very excited. Now, I grew up as a little white girl in a little white village in a predominantly white part of South England. So I had never come into contact with anyone whose skin was darker than mine, except occasionally when I went to London, there might be the train driver or somebody. And I just thought they were wonderful. And anyway, so I was invited to go to Fiji and I was very excited. My husband wasn't very keen, but I persuaded him. And so we got there, and the minute I arrived, I knew I was home. I stood on the tarmac. In those days, there was no flashy airport. It was, it was just basic. And I stood at 5 o'clock in the morning in the blazing heat, surrounded by all these black people, and I just was so excited. There was something deep in me. I've often thought maybe I should have been born black because I have a huge. So for me, it was just perfect. But what shocked me was obviously I was going in as an affluent expatriate. So we were taken to a house which was owned by the company my husband worked for, and I was introduced to this lady. That was all she was introduced as, this lady, this very beautiful Fijian lady. And once the other people had gone, I got to talk to her. I discovered her name was Naomi. She became my very dearest friend until she died 2 years ago. She taught me everything about Fiji. She was a wonderful person, and so suddenly I was enveloped in this huge black family because her husband came to live with us, her two sons, her aunties and uncles used to come from the island every week and sleep in our carport to sell all their stuff at the market. And so I just became like a Fijian, which suited me very well because I had seen the other side. Now, in 1976, Fiji had only been independent for, I think, 5 years. So it was still run on very colonial lines. There were a lot of expats there who treated the locals very badly. And I was just shocked. I was horrified that anyone could treat another human being like that just because of the colour of their skin. So at the age of 25, I suddenly became very aware of the total inequality in life, and it made me very angry. And so totally changed my life totally. From that point on, I never tolerated racism. That's me.
So, but still on you. Would you say there are benefits you enjoyed by not being a black immigrant? Because I mean, you just talked about racism, but the way a black person will talk about racism will definitely be different from the way you talk about it. So, are there benefits that you enjoyed?
Oh, totally. I mean, I was only in Fiji for 2 years. Then I went back to the UK as a totally changed person. Um, and then I didn't get back to live in Fiji until I was much older. And I only lived in Fiji briefly because I then emigrated to New Zealand. Now, emigrating to New Zealand was so easy because I'm white, most Kiwis are white. Apart from my accent, I just blended in. And that made me even more aware of how hard it is for someone who's not white to blend into a hugely white society. But interestingly, on the flip side, when I go to Fiji now, 40 years on, Fiji is now not colonial. Fiji is now run by the locals, for the locals, which is exactly how it should be. And when I go there, even though I've got a huge extended family and I know everybody, I'm the one that feels left out. I feel the odd one out. I go to the market and I'm the only white person carrying all my pineapples and whatever. And everyone stares at me. So I've had just a very small taste of what it's like to be different. And it's horrible. It's not nice. I mean, the Fijians who know me don't treat me any differently because of my colour. But the people who don't know me kind of, I can see them looking me up and down. I think, oh, stupid rich white woman, what's she doing here? So I've kind of got a bit of an idea, but obviously nothing like anything that the other ladies have suffered.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that.